Hi, I'm Kathy Magnuson from Wildwood Learning, Coaching and Consulting, and today with me is Monica Cochran. Monica, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yep, I'm Monica Cochran, and I'm the founder of Learning Without Borders, and I work with kids all over the world and families. So I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Yeah, so we're going to have a conversation today about a strength-based parenting book club that we're offering. And, Monica, I'm just kind of wondering about, I know you've been in education for a long time. Do we want to fix problems for our children or the students that we work with, or is it better off to look at strengths?
Well, I have to tell you, Kathy, when I first came out of college a long time ago and I had my master's in special ed, that's exactly what we did. We went in and we were fixing problems. And what I learned from that and my own kids is that we're already biased to see problems. We have to be much more intentional to see our kids' strengths. And once we did, we looked at our kids' strengths and we looked at our students' strengths, then we built that foundation. And they could find the things they're good at, they could do this. And that really has helped me in my work, especially with my, I call them quirky learners. It's really helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, but it's often a little bit of chicken and egg too. And one of the other things I've kind of come across, and maybe you have too in your coaching, is where do you start? Do you start with the child's strengths or do you start with the parents? What have you found?
Yeah, I know that I need to know my strengths before I start looking for strengths in others, because the way that I'm going to look at someone else is through my lens, my strength lens, and I have to be aware. So building that self-awareness for myself is really important before I start looking for those positive things in others. And so spotting strengths in students or in learners or in your children can really happen when you start looking for the good. Our brain has so much of that negativity bias. I know you know a lot about that, and maybe other people do too, but we're looking for the negative. It just automatically goes to the negative. And so we have to be really intentional about looking for those positives within the children that we're working with, and looking for those positives within ourselves, right? Sometimes that's hard to find too. So I'm just really curious, Monica, as to why you and I chose to do this book club together.
Well, I think book clubs are a great way to learn and dig deeper into a book. I know when I read a book, I get my perspective, but it's a little bit passive. When I'm in a book club and we're talking about it, then I get a chance to read it and often to use what I'm learning. And the more we do that, the more it becomes a part of our life. So we certainly want to recognize and acknowledge our strengths, but we also want to look for ways to use it. And I really like this book because it provides parents and kids with ways to not just recognize their strengths, but also how do we use them in our everyday life?
Yeah, and there's some great stories in there that really help you to see how other parents have tapped into their children's strengths. And I just love reading those stories and thinking about how I can do that for my own children. So in the show notes below, in the description box, is more information about the Strength-Based Parenting Book Club. We'd love you to join, so just click on the link below, and we hope to see you soon at our book club.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot, Kathy. Bye-bye.
Bye.